Hello there and welcome. Ryan Nordahl here in the Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. We're on our proving grounds again today, or as I say, the 80, here in west central Wisconsin, western Jackson County. I absolutely love this. I love this property. I love the improvements we've done. By the way, good looking branch. Doesn't look like it might be, but it is. Last year, this tree just kind of bent over on its own. Last year we had a scrape under here. There's a tree right here that's arched over, bent down into the food plot. There was a scrape under it. Great mock scrapes too. But as you can see, this is a food plot in the woods, obviously, duh. Snakes up behind me here. Real narrow, enough to get a four-wheeler down through. Broadens up down here, widens out. It's small in all. It's a little over a quarter acre, maybe 3/8 of an acre altogether. But you see the jungle here to the south. Why'd we do that? A couple reasons. Edge feathering is what it is. We pick and choose openings within this edge feathering where deer can come out of their bedding areas on the south side of this ridge. There's a couple buck beds over there. As you can see in here, I don't know if you can see it real well, but there is a little travel corridor that we left. They can come up through into here. But we're choosing where these deer enter and exit this food plot. They can't see in here. They have to come into the food plot to see what's here. I have a stand about 50 yards from where I'm at right here, called my Millennium Set. If I'm in that tree stand, buck is bedded on this point, south-facing point over here, come rut. If he's bedded there in the morning, afternoon, whatever, we sneak up into this stand with the right wind. We hit the horns. He's got to come in here. He has to come in here. We have a water hole up about 15 yards the other side of that set, so 65 yards from here. He can't see to that water hole when he comes in here, no matter where he comes. Whether he comes directly from the south, there's a big bedding area on the neighbors to the east. He has to work his way up here because he cannot see all the way up to that water hole at the far end of this food plot. He simply cannot see. I see pictures on Facebook. I see, I've walked properties where, number one, it's a big open canopy, or it's a big canopy of trees above their food plot. Hardly any sunlight. They wonder why they blame it on not enough fertilizer, pH, faulty seed. No, those are all contributing factors. But how much light is getting down into your food plot? How much daylight? Sunlight. Sunlight is crucial to having a successful food plot. But again, these deer cannot see. Down here to where this food plot starts to broaden out and get a little bit bigger, I have another stand right here in a maple tree on this corner. There will be a mock scrape here. Get him to stop. It'll be a close shot. It'll be less than 10 yards. There is a stand up there in that maple tree. I don't know if you can see it at all in this video. Big tornado zone. There's another south-facing point off to the back side of this food plot where they lay, where deer like to lay, especially the bucks. They love it back there. I'm going to show you how this goes. This ain't the biggest food plot in the world, and it doesn't need to be the biggest food plot in the world. It works. It's effective. I love it. Deer can also exit to the west here, out of here. We're not going to worry about those deer. If they come down the ridge and we can't get an arrow at, it's just the way it is. But for the most part, and the way most deer do this, they enter off this popple point. There's some improved buck beds in there. There's a big clear-cut hollow off to the east through those trees that you can maybe see. They enter up through here, around this maple tree that we completely cut off. And actually, last year there was a scrape underneath that cutoff part. So they are using it for kind of a licking post. Last season, September the 28th, many of you who follow me know that I shot my buck on September the 28th last year. It was the right conditions. We'd come off a hot week, very hot week. Temperatures, 90 to mid 90s. It was the first cool evening. It was a high of only like 65 degrees that day. Conditions were right. I knew that the buck I'd shot, buck we called Shorty. Smaller buck on our hit list, but definitely a hit lister. I knew that he was bedded in this area. I knew he was using this food plot regularly. But what really tipped me off was the water hole on the Millennium set. 6 o'clock he'd been coming in. I knew with the right conditions, which fortunately turned out to be that way. 6 o'clock that evening I had an arrow in him. Now my guesstimation is he was bedded around here somewhere. Coming to water, he had to sneak his way and snake his way up through this food plot. Now, one strategy that we're going to implement next year in the off season is we may hinge cut this north side for screen effect. It'll just help to open up for that later day sunlight to get in here as well. But that's our only thing. We want this screened on both sides. We want his visibility. We want a deer's visibility to be limited as much as possible. If we're in this Millennium set, come rut and we're rattling up there, that buck has to come up through here and he has to snake his way the whole way. If he comes in one end of the food plot and can see all the way to the other end and doesn't see another deer there, he ain't going to come to your rattling horns. Whether it's a high pressure situation or not, curiosity is going to get the better of him. He's, no matter the hunting pressure, throw that out. If you're up in that stand rattling and he can see all the way up there, doesn't see another deer, of course he's not going to come. But the way this is set up and the way it snakes down through here, these soft edges like that, he has to come up there. It's vice versa with this stand back here behind me. There's a buck that comes through the bedding area to the west, and I'm in this maple tree down here on the right wind. He's got to come down through here. He can't enter one spot of the food plot and see the entire thing. Bigger food plots, you can pinch them down with hinge cutting, create barriers, whether, with screening material, whether it's sorghum, sudan grass, switchgrass, what have you, hinge cuts. Making those pinch points within those big food plots. Guys, big food plots are nice come rifle season, yes, but the majority of us here are bow hunting. We really are. I see it, I'm not trying to ridicule you. We got to have food. We sure do, but when we're bow hunting, we got to make this to our advantage as much as possible. And it's simple, it's easy, it does not have to break the bank. I did a lot of this edge feathering this last winter with a handsaw. Why? Exercise benefit. I love to stay in shape. There's no better way to have a good cardio workout than running a handsaw. These are smaller trees, very capable. The biggest tree here is about like this birch tree right here. What is that? 2.5, maybe 3 inches in diameter. Very simple. Gets the blood flowing. I love to do it. Next year in the off season, this is our improvement strategy. To edge feather this down for a screen effect. This is just another tip of what I love to do and what can be done on your property as well. What you do with your property is totally up to you. But it works here on our property, and it can work for you as well. I've seen it. This is our proving ground here, and I've seen it on other client properties. I absolutely love to do this. The white-tailed deer is my passion. It is my business. It's how I make my living. I love setting up plans for guys. The written plan, step-by-step, area by area of your woods, walking the properties with you. I absolutely love walking the properties and working with my clients. I've met an array of people from different backgrounds, different situations. I grew up in the dairy industry. I work with a gentleman from Appleton, Wisconsin on his property up in north central Wisconsin. Very, he's almost become a good friend of mine. We have a good working relationship. He wants to learn. I do a lot of the chainsaw work for the gentleman. He isn't sure about himself. He isn't comfortable with hinge cutting trees. And that's a service I provide. But giving a written plan, mapping out areas for improvement, where our food plots are. There's different things you can do within a larger food plot. But all the tips and strategies that I discuss when I'm walking your property with you are every tip and strategy that will be within your written plan and on your laid out map of your property. It's an easy to read written plan, laid out map. It's very easy to follow. Simple. And that's the way we want it. We want everything to be simple. We want all these strategies to not break your bank either. I will work within your budget. I have no problem with that. I have a budget as well. I got to keep my stuff within that budget. But the value that I can bring and the eye-opening experiences and lessons that you can learn from me, somebody who's been doing this for as long as I have. If you want testimonials, I can surely get testimonials from some of my clients for you. But I love to do this. I'm not going to do you wrong. These strategies work on our property. It's proven. And I absolutely love to do this. If you want to see more deer on your property, attract and hold more deer throughout the hunting season on your property, give me a call. My phone number can be found on my Facebook page, my email address, my website. If you go to my website, my email address is there as well. You can direct message me via my Facebook page, Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. I can be found on YouTube with an array of videos at Epic Whitetail Habitat. I can be found on Instagram as well. But I absolutely love to do this, and I love working with my clients that I have. And if I can be of service to you and help you attract and hold more deer on your property, give me a call. I'd love to work with you. Ryan Nordahl, Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. Thank you. I look forward to talking to you real soon.